Hi, it's Bobbie from Bobbie's Baking Blog, and I'm so excited today because Sydney's home, and that means I can make cupcakes. And we decided to decorate our cupcakes to look like Santa. So here's Mr. Claus, and I will show you how I did him. Okay, what you will need is a piece of fun foam, or like I have this pink foam from Wilton, 2 triangle cutters, the smallest and the next smallest, a cutter, a round circle cutter, a little bit bigger in diameter than your cupcake, a ribbon cutter, or you could use a clay gun, a number 12 Wilton tip, and a number 7 Wilton tip, some blush color, or this is Satin Doll from Crystal Colors, and this one is Dusty Pink from Sugar Flare. I mix them to make the rosy cheeks of Santa. Edible glue, pearl white from Blossom, and some fun disco white. And then if you would make a template of your cupcake, just so you know, the hat comes down, I believe it is 2.5 centimeters. The nose is exactly 3 centimeters from the line of the hat. And the eyes, I actually made them too far apart, but they're exactly a half of a centimeter from each of the nose, or a centimeter from each other. And that's just to give you a guide of what you're doing. Of course, you'll need some fondant. I chose to go with a mixture of cinnamon and mocha to get the exact color that I wanted for Santa's skin. And you'll need a medium rolling pin. So I'm just kneading my fondant. It's small enough that I can knead it in my hands. So I have my fondant rolled out to about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to take my circle cutter and cut a nice clean circle. Put the remaining fondant in my bag. I'm going to move my circle to my little foam pad. And there's nothing else on this fondant, it's just regular fondant. Here are my notes of how long everything should be. So let me just get my guide. And the first thing you're going to want to do is where you decided to put your hat. And it's important that this one thing you have to be pretty accurate with, because the triangle hat will not fit if it's any further down. So I'm going to score it. And the score is usually so light that I go back in just a little bit more to make sure that it's there. Okay, so we have our score. And now I'm just going to kind of dot where the nose is going to go and where the eyes are. And it's not exact, but that's fine. And you're going to take a little piece of your fondant and roll a small nose. About, if you were using a size guide, you would want it to be about 5 on the side of a sewing size guide. It's a little bit big, so I'm going to take a little bit away. And pretty much you could do whatever you want. I mean, you can make your Santa have a gigantic nose, you can have a button nose, you can do whatever you want with him. You can make an elf out of him. Originally we were going to do elves. Now I'm just going to make sure that I like this nose. And I do. So I'm going to glue it on with my edible glue. You could use water if you want. I find the edible glue or an egg white is the strongest. I have edible glue here, so that's what I'm going to use. And just put that nose on right there. Kind of puck him up a little bit. Get it nice and attached. And this is actually a clay scriber for polymer clay. I've never used it for anything but fondant. I'm going to make some little nostrils in here. I'm going to bring down the nose. The next thing we're going to do is make little eye sockets. So I'm going to move my foam pad out of the way so I don't hurt him. You don't need a lot of fondant for this. Now, this is 75-25. And when I say 75-25, I'm sure you've heard of 50-50. 75-25 is 75 fondant, 25 gum paste. And the reason that I did that was because I wanted it to be super white for those eyes and for the beard and mustache, which is what you're going to use this for. But I also wanted it to be soft and edible so that if you gave them away at a Christmas party, people wouldn't be breaking their teeth because gum paste gets so hard. Then you're going to take your number 12 and you're going to use the piping end to make the eye sockets. It's the perfect size. You can use your little PME scribing tool or any type of tool that you want to get it out. Just poke out those little eyeballs. I'm going to put this away. I'll need it for my beard. My nose looks a little funky, so I'll fix it. Okay. So to put the eyes on, it's the same thing. I'm going to make sure that I like where they are. These are the whites of the eyeballs, obviously. And this one's on backwards. You know how there's always a good side and not so good side to your fondant mixture. Alright, that looks pretty good. What I did was I kept looking at different images from like Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph, all the ones that have Santa in them, just to kind of see how those little puppet guys, I don't even know if they were puppet, they were cartoons or whatever they were, to kind of see how they were, and their eyes were really, really close together. So I put my eyes pretty close together. And there we go. Then you're going to want some pupils because he looks kind of blind without them. I already have this already rolled out. It's just regular black fondant rolled out to about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit less. And you are going to use a number 7 piping tube, and you're going to use the piping end for the little eyeball. This is pretty similar to if you watched my or saw my tutorial for the snowman. The eyes are done fairly similar. The reason this is already rolled out was so that you didn't have to listen to the plastic bag. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my little eyes. Try not to put them on your fondant because black can stain. Just to kind of see where I want them and where they look pretty good. Okay, so I know where I kind of want those eyeballs. They're very small. And just a smidge of glue, just enough to hold those eyeballs on, or pupils on. We have the eyeballs on. And just kind of put them wherever you want. It's odd how all of a sudden he'll just come to life. Now before I do the hat, because the hat has a white fuzzy rim, I am going to go ahead and give him some color. So I'm going to take out a little piece of parchment paper. I like these little squares, but I mean whatever you have is fine. As you can see, I have a mixture of that plum and satin doll. And I'm going to bring them together like this. And if you think it's too rosy, bring in more satin doll. If you don't have the color and all you have is that dusty pink, add a little cornstarch to it. That'll lighten it up. And kind of just give him some rosy, beautiful cheeks. Now, obviously, if you were going to be making a realistic face, you would not be rosying up cheeks like this, but Santa has rosy cheeks, and he actually has a little red nose. Not quite as red as Rudolph's, but it's cold. He's been traveling a lot. So we'll just do a little highlighting here and there. So we've got that on. Now we're going to do the hat. And the hat is fairly easy. if you think about it, it's all just shapes. So for the hat, we're going to go ahead and take our big triangle. Make sure where I can get them to fit. Right there is good. And again, I had this pre-rolled out just so you wouldn't have to listen to me open up a bag and make a lot of noise. I did want to show you how I made the hat. And I'm just keeping that under a Stay Fresh mat so it stays nice. And go through and make sure your sides don't have any of those little fuzzies. Check out your hat. Make sure it fits. Ooh, he's so cute. Look, he's already coming to life. Okay, so we're going to glue our hat on. And I'm going to take my edible glue, a light coating straight onto that line that I scribed in. So you're not even going to see that dent that I made. I'm just going to lightly fill it in with a little bit of this edible glue. Like I said, egg white is fine. It's probably the strongest glue there is, so if that's what you have, use it. And I'm going to bring this up like so, and I have these little wrapped, they're dental gauze wrapped in plastic wrap. And I'm going to put my tip behind it because it's right now my fondant's so soft it doesn't want to stay. Okay, so I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to bring out my white again to make the rim of his hat. So maybe a golf ball size amount. You're not going to use the whole thing, but you want a nice strip. So you're going to roll out your gum paste, or it's not gum paste, your 25-75. 25 fondant, 25 gum paste, excuse me, and 75 fondant. Because I want, like I said, that white. I also want that stiffness that gum paste gives. Okay, so once I see that I have it nice and even, I will then take my ribbon cutter, and I am not going to worry too much about whether or not the ends look good because it's too long for this hat, and I'm doing this deliberately. I'll show you why. I'm going to take my hands and kind of clean up these edges. I will bring my little hat back, and I think that we don't need this anymore to hold it in place, but we do need this little guy. Oh my, he just does not want to stay where he's put, huh? Alright, so we're going to put this on, and as you can see, he is a lot longer than the hat. But I want that because I want him to wrap around the hat. I don't want it to be this long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my PME tool with the little wheel on one side, the perforated wheel, and the scribing tool on the other. And you can get this at our shop. And I'm going to just scribe in a line. And then I'm just going to grab just some regular sharp scissors that I only use for gum paste and cut those scored lines. My little assistant is taking things from me. It's so nice to have Sydney home. I was wrong. This fondant does not want to stay, so we'll put that back. Okay. So I'm going to make sure that's exactly how I want it, and it is. I'm going to take it off gently, bring my edible glue back in, and just make a very nice line of not too much glue. Edible glue, of course. I'm going to bring back my strip and bring it up. My little thing's getting in the way there. And then I'm going to tuck in my edges so that it looks like it's wrapping around the hat. You can move your work mat, or if you just want to move your foam, you can do that too. And like I said, this foam is Wilton's, but you can get fun foam at Hobby Lobby and cut it into squares of any size that you want. Just kind of tuck that hat in. I'm going to give a little bit of glue on his face area. It's not sticking as well on this side. Now I have my nails fairly short, so I don't have to worry about dinging, but if you have beautiful manicured nails, you can still do it. Sydney made quite a few of them, and she has amazing nails. Alright, so now we have our strip in, and now I'm going to take my, I think it's a diamond tool from PME, and I'm just going to lightly poke in a little bit of texture. We're going to go all around the hat, poking in this texture, so that it gives the hat some life. It looks realistic. As realistic as a cartoon hat can look. Be kind of careful around those eyes. This would be an awesome project to do with little kids because there's not anything that can hurt them. All the tools that we're using are pretty benign for kids. If you didn't want them to use the scissors, then you could cut that part for them, but other than that, you could even let a little 4-year-old do this with you. And if you wanted to save it and make it into an ornament for the tree, one of those edible ornaments that people make, I'm going to remove this for just a second so I can get under there. I would then do 50-50, 50 gum paste and fondant. I wouldn't totally do the gum paste because you wouldn't be able to get the movement that I'm getting for the amount of time. I think it would make it hard for a child. And then poke a hole through the hat and hang it on your tree in a couple days. So we've got our texture in. And now I'm going to make his puffing ball for the bottom of his hat here. And at that point I will not need this tube because the ball is a little bit heavy and it will weigh down my fondant. So you probably need, maybe a size 5, 3, somewhere in there. Not too big. You don't want to have a gigantic pom-pom. And the idea is you're going to put it on the end right here. So I'm going to take out my edible glue. And I'm going to actually put it onto the corner of the hat. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to stick it right here. And he's going to sag. So I'm going to bring in my little wrapped piece of dental gauze. The reason I like working with the dental gauze rather than like a paper towel is it doesn't make a mark. It's this perfect size. So if I was doing a bow, I think you saw me use these in my bow tutorial. I know that both ends of my loops are exactly the same. I can put it away for another use. I have it. You can make them in all different sizes. Alright, so we're just adding just a little bit of texture to our pom-pom of our hat. And now this is completely optional. I'm going to take this disco dust, and the optional part is whether or not you want to add the edible glue to what you're using. I'm going to first see, I had one turn out perfectly fine, and one like this one that the dust just didn't want to hang on to. So rather than fight with it, I'm going to take a little bit of the glue, and when I say a little bit, I mean a very little bit, and just spot it in places so that you get a nice sparkly touch on it. And then I'm going to take another brush, a little bit bigger brush. This is a size 3-0, petite grease. And I like these for dusting this type of work because it hangs on to it so well. And I'm just going to dust that edible glue so that my little disco dust will show up better. And it is. The trick is to make sure that your glue doesn't dry while you're yammering like I am. Hopefully you're not yammering to yourself, but I don't know. I yammer to myself sometimes. Alright, so now, and I don't mind that it's on the hat. I'm going to give the hat a little bit of sparkle. I mean, it's Christmas, snow is falling. And his hat got full of snow. At least he didn't get stuck in a chimney this year. So I've got that on. And I'm going to do his beard. And his beard is quite easy. We're going to go back to our circle cutter. You don't need a lot. You don't even need a whole circle for this. And we're going to go back to our 75-25. And I'm going to repeat myself one more time. 75 fondant, 25 gum paste. And we're going to roll it out. Not as thin as we have with everything else, and not as thin as we do his mustache, because his beard needs to look fluffy. Sydney and I tried a couple of different ways of making this beard look correct. We used a triangle cutter, and that would work. You could use a triangle cutter and then mold it around his face. I accidentally found this way by accident, literally. Sydney was cutting out mustaches, and I was playing with the fondant. And then take your circle cutter, start a little bit high. If it's too much, you can always bring it down. If you take off too much, obviously you're going to have to go back and make another beard. And his nose keeps getting a little lopsided on me. Alright, so you're going to take his beard. And I can see it's got a little divot, so let me fix that. Just with your finger. It's still very pliable. It's still real soft and sticky. And you're going to put it up as close to his face as you can. Remember, he's going on a cupcake, so we don't want too much hanging down. I'm going to check it out. Looks pretty good. Remove it. I'm going to take this out. I might have to put it back in. But we'll see. Holler if you see that thing going down. Not that I'll hear you, but holler. So I'm just going to bring the glue around the bottom of his face. These would be so cute for like a party at an office or one of those kids' birthday parties. You could even have the kids do it as a activity at the party. Okay, I am just going to attach the beard to his face a little bit so that it looks like it actually belongs there. And I'm going to kind of just scribe this down and attach it to the hat, kind of hiding it. That way I don't have to cut it off. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take that same tool and I'm going to give my beard a little bit of definition. And this is just poking wherever you want to poke. You want to poke at the bottom, poke at the bottom, you want to poke at the top, poke at the top. Now when I say do the beard a tad bit thicker, I don't mean thicker than the face. Obviously you wouldn't want to go much thicker than that. But I do mean thicker than what you've done, like the brim. So you could do some light marks, some heavier dots, and they will pop out when I put the pearl white on there and the disco. Actually, not the disco, just the pearl white. Alright, I already have my mustache cut out, and actually what it is a lip template that I used. And I'm going to put it underneath, see which way it looks best. And you can find them like on the internet. I think it looks better the other way. Just look up lips. Okay, so we'll put him on. Let me check again which way I want him to go. The important part about this is you want the mustache to come under the nose, but the little wings, little handlebars, to stay on Santa's beard. I'm going to put a little bit of edible glue in here. And if I need more for the very ends, I can always go back. I don't want to do too much or find that I have glue sticking up. So there he goes. Here goes the mustache. And on it is. And you kind of just want to blend it in a little bit so that it looks like it's part of that beard. It grew in together. And then we'll texture him so you won't even see that I'm adding these little hairy things in. You could also do a clay gun and add little like curly things onto the beard and mustache to give it more of a three-dimensional look if you wanted to. Right, like this. And like I said, I might need a little, no, I think it'll be fine. Depending on how wet your 2575 is, will depend on how much edible glue you'll need. You will need some, because you don't want the mustache just flying off when somebody goes to take a bite. And now I'm going to take my Blossom Pearl White Shimmer and my 2.0. No, that's my 3. Oh, that's my 2. Okay, I'm going to take him, and I am just going to go ahead and just really, I gave him a little bit too much, but that's alright. Shine up his mustache and beard. And I've noticed that some of my stuff has gone awry. And when I say awry, I mean off of his beard. So I'm just going to take this camera puffer. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but you know, it takes away hair and dust. Just kind of get rid of it. And now we're just going to put him onto the cupcake, and we're done. In a very short period of time, you have made a cute, delicious face. Now, the key is, when you move him, you don't want to wrinkle his face or his hat. So you're going to go under with an offset spatula, kind of hang on to that hat, and fit him so that the face is directly on your cupcake. Thank you so much for being a part of my Santa Claus demo.